Hey Overcomers, I hope you're all having an amazing day. I'm Dara Marie, your favorite mindset teacher, and this is Be an Overcomer, where you are inspired and empowered to walk by faith and use the gift of imagination to create the life you desire. So Overcomers, today's message is the world is a mirror, and it comes from a Neville Goddard concept that our thoughts are literally creating our world. This outer world is just a reflection of what's happening in our minds and what we're thinking on and focusing on. And also, our self-concept, how we view ourselves in relation to this world, that is what manifests. And later on in the message, I'm going to share with you a story from my own life. So now I want to read to you a couple of Neville Goddard quotes, and some are from like some of his different books. You know how much I love Neville Goddard. So the world is a mirror, forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself. Another quote from his book, Your Faith is Your Fortune. Change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. Do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. Revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. Another quote. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. Therefore, you possess the power of intervention, the power which enables you to alter the course of your future. The process of rising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself is the means of all true progress. The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. And one more quote, and this is from The Power of Awareness. You know a thing mentally by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing it and defining it. Whereas you can know a thing spiritually only by becoming it. You must be the thing itself and not merely talk about it or look at it. Okay, and so like I shared with you, those are several quotes from Neville Goddard, several of his books, basically talking about how your conception of self, basically your self-concept, your thoughts, that the world is just mirroring back to you what you think of the world, okay? Here's the thing, even though we are in the same world, we're all living different experiences while we are in this world. And it is based on your mindset. Mindset is everything. And this is why the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Call those things that be not as though they are. But too often we're programmed just to regurgitate like what someone else said or someone else's experiences or what some expert on TV is saying. But when you understand that you're a child of God, that you were made in his image and that you're made for a divine purpose, that you are here to experience the best things and that you can consciously create, you could select the things that you want to experience if you will stay there in your mind and it will manifest, okay? But it's something that we have to learn. It's something that most of us, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I didn't come into this knowledge until, I don't know, is it 10 years now? I don't know. I mean, I always knew about having faith in God. I always was a person of faith, but the last few years, especially with how things have been, I was like, Lord, I was asking God, like, what is the bridge between faith and getting that thing, actually seeing it manifest, right? Why am I seeing people like in cycles, living like certain experiences over and over, certain cycles on repeat? Like, when does that stop? When do they get to break that cycle? Like, for example, I'm just going to give you an example off the top. If someone is living in lack, like, I don't believe that they're supposed to be experiencing that like year after year after year after year after year after year, or if it's like, you know, an ongoing sickness. I believe in miracle signs and wonders. I believe that God can do the miraculous. I believe that he's given us the power that if we can think a thing and believe a thing, that it will transform. Okay. And I've seen too many, you know, experiences, things in my own life and things in other people's life to not convince me, okay? I should say to not make me believe or not have like unbelief that faith works. Like basically what I'm saying is faith works. Your imagination was given to you so you can create if you would just tap in. So now I want to read to you from my latest book, Faith and Imagination, Keys to Effortless Living. So this section is on speak life, and I'm big on speaking life. You have to speak life, okay? Especially if you're trying to consciously create your life. And once you understand that the world is just a mirror, so if you keep speaking lack, or you keep speaking sickness, or you keep speaking negative things, you're going to experience that. Whereas if you start to discipline your speech and discipline your thoughts and start to speak abundance and health and great experiences, you're going to see things are going to start to come to you. Okay? So you will also declare a thing and it will be established for you. So light will shine on your ways. And that's from Job 22 and 28. There's such power in the words we speak. As people, we have been conditioned to believe that we want things that we cannot have. You may see a nice car or a lovely home and think you cannot have it, when the truth is, it is the fact that you desire, you're supposed to have it. I'm going to read that again. When the truth is the fact that you desire it, you are supposed to have it. I believe God gives us downloads that are clues to what we are created for, our purpose on this earth. And I'm a firm believer God gives us clues, okay, as to what you're supposed to do. Like I shared with you, I was a teacher long before I entered a classroom. When I was in high school, even elementary school, I would pretend to be a teacher and I would write on the chalkboard. My parents had a chalkboard and I would write on it and I would pretend I was teaching. Lo and behold, years later, would fast forward and I became a teacher. So sometimes you'll have clues. I call them downloads. God will give you clues as what you're supposed to be doing next. Someone was sharing something with me earlier that an opportunity had came to them and there was something that they are supposed to, they think they should be doing. And I just said to them, God's going to let you know. You're going to get a confirmation. You will know that that's the next step. Some of you, it may be going back to school. Some of you, it may be, I don't know, like starting that business, writing that book, okay? And this is why I tell you, when you have ideas and downloads, okay, you need to move on those things, okay? And also be aware of who you share your vision with, because while people are well-meaning, they may not understand fully about faith and stepping out into your vision and pushing towards your dreams and your goals and things like that, okay? And sidebar, it's not being secretive, it's being sacred. When you're in the building stage of anything, I find it's sacred. There's no time that you don't need to make an announcement. Just keep building, do the work. Just keep doing what God is telling you to do, all right? And as I said, getting back to the world is a mirror. It is reflecting whatever you are doing within yourself, okay? The world is a mirror to the things that we think on a continuous basis, the things that we focus on the most. Those are the things that get expressed in our world. Okay, so I just wanted to read to you quickly from The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You also know this book because I also talk a lot about Joseph Murphy, and this book is about the subconscious mind. This is a great book because especially in understanding that the world is a mirror and that your thoughts create. Any mental picture backed by faith and perseverance will come to pass through the miracle working power of your subconscious. Trust it, believe in its power, and wonders will happen as you pray, okay? So it says faith and perseverance is so powerful. You have to have faith in the thing that you're believing for. You have to have faith in your vision. You have to have faith in that dream, that goal. You have to stay persistent. And this is why I tell you, keep the spiritual blinders on, because this world is filled with so many distractions. And some of the things, honestly, like some things, I know while it could be stressful or it could be disheartening or feel, make you feel discouraged, other things are just pure nonsense. So you have to be discerning. You have to be aware, okay? Because here's the time here's the thing, when God has given you a goal, a dream, a vision, this is not the time to be stagnant. You understand what I mean? It's not the time to be stagnant. You got to move. You got to make some moves. You have to stay focused on the things that God is calling you to do. So anyway, the world is a mirror reflecting what you are doing within yourself, your concept, your self-concept. This outer world will mimic or match what you've been thinking. So for example, if you've been putting out like your business is successful, and or if it's health and your health is getting better day by day, you're getting stronger, you're feeling better, guess what? Eventually, somehow, some way, you may be led to change your diet and start eating certain things. You may be led to exercise some more. Someone will give you pointers on something to do, and guess what? It can transform your life. Okay? But your thing, the thing that you need to do, your focus needs to be focusing on what you're creating, focusing on what you're believing for, focusing on that vision, and definitely have a strong concept of self. And I know sometimes that takes time. So as I share with you, I'm going to share this story. I don't know why the last few days the Lord was like, this is for somebody. I was like, okay, God. So anyway, when I was in 7th grade, like going back to, I would say like 7th grade, maybe even elementary school, I used to be very, very shy. I was always a smart student. I was always like, for the most part, well-behaved, not perfect, but well-behaved, but like very shy. And I think back to 7th grade at that time of the season of the story I'm going to share with you, I didn't really have a strong concept of self. Whereas sometimes when you may appear to be weak to others, basically they feel that they can bully you. Okay? So lo and behold, 7th grade, one of my classmates, one of the girls, what did she say? She comes to me one day and it's like middle of the day and she's like, oh, you know what? I heard you said such and such about, some other student and we're going to beat you up. And I was like, what? So basically, according to her, she said it happened like after school. I said something about somebody and that basically these girls were going to beat me up, or they wanted to, her words, they're going to jump me after school. Mind you, I was like that, I would say back then, very mousy, very weak, like scared. And I was like, what? Like, first of all, I couldn't hang out after school. Okay, I have a Jamaican father. There was no being hang out after school, no. If there was like an after school club that I was in, I could stay after school. If there was maybe a band rehearsal or something, but there was no just like hang out and just roam the road. No, you go to school and you come back home. There was none of that. So I was like, I wasn't even there. And I was shook. I was like shaking, literally shaking. But thank God for my best friend. Thank God for my best friend, who we've been best friends since I was in kindergarten and she was in 1st grade. She's a year older than me. And she, on the other hand, while I was always a like mousy, scared one, she was always like tough. Like she always was like, listen, she's kind, but you can't play with her. Like, no, she don't play with people. She still to this day is kind of like very funny with people, but she was strong in herself. Like she had a strong self-concept. So lo and behold, after school, I think I had called her and I told her, I was like, oh my gosh, such and such said, she's going to do this, this, and that. And I was like, she was like, stop. She's like, first of all, I know you can't hang out. There's no hanging out. Like with your father. She's like, your father's like my dad. Jamaican fathers don't play. I was like, yes, I cannot hang out. So she said, don't worry. I'm going to take care of it. The next day I get to school. Okay. First of all, I like dashed home. And the next day I get to school and I was like, the whole day I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And mind you, I don't know why, thinking back, I didn't say anything to my parents. I didn't go to like an administrator. I don't know. I didn't even tell a teacher. Like, I don't know. I just didn't. So next thing you know, that same girl who said she was going to like have her and these other girls were going to like jump me or whatever. She comes up to me like middle of the day and she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, it must have been somebody else. Like she changed up her story. All of a sudden she was sorry. Then I had to go, changing up classes. I saw some of the other girls, and they too just kind of like looked at me like kind of like they stood back like, okay, we're not going to mess with you. So in my mind, I was like, what in the world happened? Like, what changed? So my best friend, later that day, she told me, because like I said, she always had friends that were older. And she said, oh, I had such and such talk to her. That girl that she had speak to her was a senior, 12th grade, and nobody, when I say nobody in the building, just thinking back to how she was, nobody in the building, kids, I should say, wanted to mess with her. Like, she just had that kind of a way and a reputation. So I was like, Lord, what is the message here? When I look back then, my self-concept, I was very shy. I was timid. I was scared of everything. Oh my God, fear. Like, I had fear of dogs. That was the season I had fear of dogs too. Fear, such fear. And also, I also learned that there will be people, okay, that will cover you. Now, translating it to faith, and that the world is a mirror. For those of you that believe, for those of you that have strong faith, you don't have to live life in fear. You're covered by God. You're covered. Understand that. The word says he doesn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, okay? He gives us that power, right? And when you step into knowing that you are a conscious creator, that you are a child of God, you operate and you start to move through life fearlessly. I didn't say recklessly, did not say recklessly. Hear me, please. I didn't say recklessly, fearlessly. Like, no longer are you going to be afraid of these outside circumstances or things that are happening in this world, because you will know that if you could think a thing and speak a thing and stay persistent in your faith, use the tools of imagination, have a strong self-concept, self-love for yourself, that you can transform and change things on the outer world. Okay? But what I will say with that experience, because I was like literally asking myself, and another friend of mine, she said, I noticed, she's like, you love people, but she said, I'm very selective. Now, as I share with you in the other video, I love people, but at the same token, I don't play with people. Okay? I'm very cautious. I don't want to be caught up in anything. And this is why if I know something, because I have strong discernment, if I know something is going to be negative, it's just going to be gossiping. It's not progress. It's not moving forward. It's not anything that's going to be inspirational or productive, or something great is going to come from it. I remove myself from it. Okay? If we're going to talk, let's talk business. Let's talk inspirational stuff. Let's talk things that are uplifting. Let's talk things that are inspiring. Okay? Things that are going to help to elevate you to the next level, myself to the next level. But I don't want to stand in or be in a space where something can be misconstrued. Because going back to all those years, I was only in 7th grade. I was a young girl in 7th grade. I wasn't even there. I was nowhere near. God is my witness, okay? No, I was nowhere near saying anything about that person. And I was always taught as a kid to treat people how you want to be treated. I was always that person, like, you don't have to be best friends with everybody, but treat people with love and respect. Because at the end of the day, you never know how life transforms. And that very person that you think that, oh, you're going to look down on them, or you think you're better, that could be the same person that will help you. That's how I live my life. Okay. I like to live my life at a certain level of integrity. But I realized that event, it formed and it shaped my thinking. And this is why I say the world is a mirror. Now going forward, fast forward, I believe I operate with strong faith. Where there's things in this world or things that have happened the last few years that have caused people to be very fearful, but because I stand in strong faith and I have evidence of my faith, I move forward, understanding that this world is just a mirror. It's just reflecting what I'm thinking, what I'm speaking. So I always speak that where I am, it's got to be a blessed place. It has to be a place of peace, okay? A place of like upliftment. If I find that or feel that something is not like that, I don't want to be there. That's just me. So, overcomers, I just want to encourage you that the world is a mirror, and it doesn't matter where you are on the road of life. I don't care what your age is, because sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm this age, I can't do this. Listen, a lot of the greatest people, whether they were like inventors or musicians or, starting businesses, they may have started later on in life and achieved tremendous success. So I don't want you to allow age to be a hindrance or allow your background to be a hindrance, how you grew up, any of those things. If you start changing your mind and you understand this concept that what you assume to be true will be true for you, and that's the law of assumption, okay? And you understand that this world is just reflecting back what you are doing within yourself, as Neville Goddard said. Whatever you're thinking consistently within yourself, whatever you're focusing on. So focus on the best, okay? I feel like faith, I said it before, faith is the ultimate life hack, and using your imagination, ultimate life hack. Because even if you're facing a problem, you will know what to speak to that problem. You will know what to think to that problem to transform it, okay? So overcomers, I hope this message encouraged you today. I hope it blessed you. I felt led to share that story. I hope that helps someone. So anyway, overcomers, thank you so much for being here. If you like this message, please share it, comment, subscribe, and please hit like so other people can see this content too. And always be an overcomer.